What's up everybody? Welcome to the German Tuning YouTube channel. My name is Brad, and in this video we're going to install this HPA hybrid turbo kit in my Mark 6 GTI. Hey, what's up guys? We're headed right now to Lusso Motorsports, and we're going to pick up our HPA hybrid turbo kit from them. They were kind enough to order it for us, and we're headed there right now to go get it. I'm super stoked. The GTI is going to be even faster than it already is, which, you know, I mean, there's some room for improvement for sure. We can definitely add probably 100 horsepower. So yeah, we'll be there shortly. Front row parking. All right, let's unbox this HPA K04 hybrid for the GTI. In the box, we got HPA license plate frame, awesome. $100 wine voucher, that's pretty sweet. Thank you, HPA. Take that out. Got foam out of there. Woo, look at this guy. That's what I'm talking about. So they include pretty much everything you could think of to install this turbo. They even have a new N75 valve, which is phenomenal. And it's got a diverter valve on it. I didn't realize that the diverter valve was going to come on it. That's awesome. I have a good one in my turbo now, but can't go wrong with one that's already in there. Okay, and we got boost pipe. It's going to go from the outlet. Got everything laid out here. Got the turbo, we got the adapter for the outlet, compressor outlet to the charge piping. We got crush washers, we got studs for the downpipe, we got our drain gaskets here, we got V-band clamp, it's going to go here for the adapter, hoses for the N75, we got a couple plugs, looks like we need a drain plug. We got the block off plate for the PCV, because this is for the FSI, not TSI. So we have a TSI, so we're going to put this on. And we got the nuts for the downpipe and the actual turbo manifold to head. Hose with the clamps. Here's our list of stuff. Went through everything. Looks like everything's good to go. Autographed, nice. So here's some instructions, just kind of pre and post installation stuff. Looking pretty good. Wastegate cracking pressure is supposed to be 7 psi, so we'll verify that before we install it. And yeah, looking pretty good. All right, we'll start this timer, see how long it takes to put this turbo in. All right, 16 minutes in. You can actually see the turbo now. So intake came off, heat shield, which these are always a pain in the ass if you've ever taken one off. There's a little bolt underneath back here that is really close to the manifold. It's kind of hard to see, but it's down here. Those can be huge pain in the ass to take off. So if you do take one of those off, be very careful not to strip it, because if you strip it, they are not fun to get out. So we'll continue to keep going. Downpipe's almost off. Then we'll get the lines off, drain all the coolant, and pull this thing about the top. All right, quick pro tip. When you're removing this bolt right here, this 6mm Allen bolt that goes to the turbo bracket, if it's the original bolt and it's never been removed, it's gonna be very tight. And it can also rust inside this area here. So what I usually do is I'll take my 6mm Allen on a ratchet, put it in there, get my air hammer and hit it right here with the air hammer, just kind of, you know, medium force while I'm trying to turn this. What that does is it cracks this whole assembly loose. Doesn't actually break anything, it just breaks if there's any rust or anything like that, and it'll pop it loose. So that works every time. So when you go to take these lines off, this is the coolant line right here. It is the feed, and it's attached to the block back there, which is very hard to get to. So you're gonna undo this banjo, pull this line that's attached right here, and also there's a bolt that's right here that you're gonna remove for the oil feed. and you're gonna pull it down out of the way. And when you do take this off, it's gonna drain a good amount of coolant. So kind of keep an eye out and move out of the way real quick, because it's gonna come splashing down on you. But the oil drain line and oil feed line will both come out of the block, and they'll go up with the turbo. All right, time update. 39 minutes in. Stopped it just so we can do this, but everything is loose down there. We got all the coolant and oil lines loose from the block, and also from the turbo. Downpipe's off. Lower boost hose is off, and so now we got to undo the 5 nuts that are right here that hold the turbo in, and then we'll be able to pop the turbo this way and lift it up out, because it sits in this wedge type groove that's down in there, and that holds it against the block. So when you tighten it up, that it gets even tighter, because it wedges itself down in there against the gasket in the head. So we'll get those 5 nuts off, get this turbo out of here. All right, 47 minutes. Get the turbo on the floor. Not too bad. Now let's compare it with the HPA and see how they stack up. Okay, I want to do a quick comparison real quick. So, stock K03, HPA K04 hybrid. Can already tell right off the bat that the inlet is a lot bigger on the HPA than the OEM K03. So yeah, we have the billet adapter for the outlet. Everything else, so you have the serial number. This one's actually on the housing right there. As far as the turbine side goes, you can definitely tell that it is a bigger turbine wheel than the OEM one is. And the fin count is more on the HPA, which is awesome. So, looks really good. Let's put it in. Alright, I always check the cracking pressure on new turbos just to make sure. So they're saying it's supposed to crack at 7 psi. Started moving. Yep, right around 7 psi. So that's good. Here's the torque spec for torquing the turbo to the head. So we have 5 Newton meters, 12 Newton meters, 16, and 25 in this order. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. And you do that all 4 steps. Time check, 2 hours, 52 minutes. And it's ready to start. Got coolant in, everything's back together, everything's tight. Give it a few cranks here to get the oil system primed. I got the coils unplugged right now, so not to do too long. 10 seconds usually is plenty. Just enough to get oil pressure up to the coil packs. Alright, get these back on. Should all click. Okay, let's get the first start. See how it does. So far things are looking good. Everything's dry so far on the fittings. Looks good in there. Single mass flywheel rattle. We got the normal smoke after install. It's just all the oil and residue and everything burning off the turbo. So you always want to make sure that kind of slows down before you go drive it, just so you don't get everything super, super hot with all that residue on there. Alright, first drive. Just taking it easy. Nothing crazy, but the exhaust does sound louder. So a larger exhaust housing for sure makes a difference in the sound. And then you can actually hear the turbo spooling a little louder too, which is also a huge plus, being that it's a bigger turbo. So still on the stage 2 tune. Wanted to see kind of how it did on the on that at first before started tuning for the turbo, but I definitely will be doing a lot of tuning on this car now with the K04 in there. So yeah, you can hear the turbo a lot better. Makes more of that you know, intake whoosh noise. Quick pull there, and that was 23 psi, which is about 3 psi more than you usually see with the K03. So definitely gonna have to adjust the wastegate duty cycle to get that down. Yeah, that was not even full throttle. That pulled pretty good. Pops and bangs are a little louder too. Got a lot of wind noise here. Pulls good. Well, so far the car is driving really good. Took the ECU a couple pulls to adapt a little bit. Wastegate duty cycle, I need to pull some wastegate duty cycle out of it because it spikes like 22, 23 psi, and the tune's only set for 20 currently. But for being on the stage 2 tune, you can definitely feel a difference up top. Even though it's only 13 psi by redline, it's still pulling harder than the K03 did. I'm super stoked with how this turbo is performing. Honestly, it's doing great. The install went well. You guys saw, you know, kind of toward the end I fought a little bit. There's a billet flange that bolts to it for the boost pipe to hook up to. Needs to be clocked like a perfect way, and I didn't have it quite right, so that was hitting the block when I went to go put the turbo on. So I had to make some adjustments, move that around a little bit, get it to where it didn't hit anymore, and everything bolted up perfect after that. Coolant line didn't go on to the stock location as far as where, you know, it is on the turbo, but I was able to get it attached, and it worked fine. I just had to move the coolant plug that comes with it to the top hole instead of have it in the bottom, because it hit the bottom. It actually hit the plug when you went to put the line on. So a little tip there, and